Hi, I'm Nate, commercial urban farmer in south central Indiana. Let's talk about microgreens, my most profitable and favorite crop. I'll show you how to turn seeds, a few supplies, and a sales process into a viable business in under 2 weeks. Let's get started. Okay, this video is going to be on small seeded microgreens from start to finish. So I'm going to take you through from seeding them all the way through to growing them, putting them under lights, growing them under lights, watering them, as well as harvesting them. And you can check out my other videos for tactics and tips for marketing your microgreens. So here are just some of the basic supplies. I'll go through them again here once I'm zoomed out. Here in my garage. First thing I'd like you to notice is that table there. It's just a foldable table, which is really handy to have, especially if you're just starting out of your house. It's portable and easy to set up anywhere. You can set it up next to your sink for convenient washing and harvesting. So also have all my trays there. I have my scale so I can measure out the seed. We've got the mister, paper towels, wear gloves, keep everything sanitary, and then you've got your soil and your measurement device. So here I'm putting about 1.5 of these old yogurt containers worth of soil in each one, which fills it about halfway up. It's a good idea to have everything lined out like this so it's easy to grab. You don't need to stop what you're doing. You can just buzz through multiple trays. So after you get all the dirt placed in each one, you're going to spread it out and try and get it somewhat flat just right off the bat. Okay, after you get all of them filled with soil and flattened out, just go through and press each one down to kind of make the soil more solid in there. When you press everything down with your hands, it's going to have little ridges from your hand, so that's where the next step comes in, the smoother. You can make one of these easily out of an old scrap piece of wood. Just cut it to the proper size, and then you're going to put it in each one, press it down, and that gives it a nice flat seeding surface. Now we're going to measure out our seed. The amount you use depends on the variety you're using, so you can download my quick start guide and that will tell you how much seed to use for each variety. So once we get this measured out, with the small seeded ones, I like to use these plastic cups and just go through like this and put it on a little bit thin the first time, and then you can go over it a couple more times and you can just see where it's wasn't put on at the proper density, or where it's a little light, and you can go back over those areas and hit those again. This is pretty much the best way I've found to seed the smaller microgreens. After you get it nice and even, put all the seed on there. Press those down so they get a little bit better contact with the soil. And then you're going to spray them with your sprayer. Make sure you get them all good and locked into place before you put your paper towel down. Then you're going to put down your paper towel. Make sure you got enough to cover all the seed surface. After you get your paper towel laid out, water it pretty heavily, and that tray's ready to go. Let's do a close-up here. I'll show you, this is radish microgreens. So I see these in at 75 grams. per flat, per 1020 flat. If it's a little above, I don't worry about it. So I'll show you the basic technique for how I put them in, get them into the flat. See what the seating density looks like and whatnot, as evenly as possible without spending too much time. The key is to be somewhat efficient as well. So here you go. We'll give it a spray, and I'll show you what to do after you get it seeded out. After you get them seeded out, just stack them too high. It's somewhere near your grow area. They don't have to be under lights or anything. I like to switch them from top to bottom after 1 day. And then this is at 2.5 days. You can start putting them under lights at 2.5 days to 3.5 days. So if you're doing 2 cycles a week, do every 3.5 days. And I'm just going to give you an example of watering them. I had just watered them, so I don't want to do it again. But this is basically what I do: go back and forth, make sure you're hitting the entire part of the tray. And I like the thinner spout one for watering them because it doesn't saturate the greens as much, and that's kind of important for some of the denser ones that can start to smell a little mildewy if they get too saturated. And this is about what you're looking for a finished microgreen. This is 7 days on the radish, or 8 days actually on the radish. Alright, so we've grown these things out to full maturity. You're happy with the size, you're ready to harvest. So I'll take you through that process. Here's your basic tools. You want to get your area all set up, have your scale, your bin for measuring in bulk, have your containers, different containers if you're packaging in baggies or in plastic clamshells, have that stuff all handy. And have your computer as well so that you can record the various weights that you're getting. You need to keep really good records on all this stuff so you know how everything's going. You'll notice that first thing I cut there, when you cut it, you want to check the bottom and make sure that it's not there's not dirt on there. You don't want to get any dirt in the finished product, so every time you cut it and pull it up, sometimes you accidentally pull up a little sprout with some dirt on the bottom. Make sure you're checking that and removing that each time. So when you're harvesting your greens, you're generally going to be harvesting in plastic baggies or some other bulk container for restaurant customers, or else you might be harvesting into clamshells for samples or for selling at the farmer's market or something like that. And with the baggies, I always just put them, we'll cut it and put it in a large container on the scale to get a good measurement, and then I'll distribute it into the baggies. But with the clamshells, I like to harvest it and put it straight into the clamshells because then you can keep the stems lined up nicely, and it's a lot easier to put them in there. So here's what it's going to look like probably about when you're done. And got them packaged in the clamshells. Make sure you record your data. And oh yeah, one other tool you'll probably need. I like to do the date stamp right after I harvest them. So that's about it. If you guys are digging these videos, be sure to like and subscribe. And then you can go to microgreensfarmer.com, pop in your email address, and I'll send you my quick start guide for free. I put in all my favorite seed varieties, where to get them, and then some basic steps to get you started on the path to your microgreens business. So we'll see you over there, and thanks for watching.